The segment is notable athletes who are scratching events at USA's, and that's the segment. I don't have a title. I need to workshop the title of
Oh,
the
just
segment, but that's the segment. So just
okay.
I just want to list
I'm
people who are
ready.
scratching USA's, and I want you to hear your reaction, Kevin. That's all I want.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't need to be a snappy title. It just needed to be an explanation because you said on the dock, and that's where
Okay,
people
true.
don't. Anyway,
All right.
go,
First
go.
athlete,
I'm in.
Noah Lyles, scratching the men's 100. Thoughts?
Not surprised.
Not surprised?
All in on the 200.
All in on 200. Abby Steiner and Gabby Thomas scratching the women's 100.
More surprised that Thomas would scratch Steiner. It makes sense due to the workload this year and the obvious um, strength for her is the 200. Thomas, after all the scratches, makes me a little worried. She's better in the two, obviously, but I was a little surprised with her not being in the 100. Makes me think she's just going all in, make sure everything's as ideal a setup as possible for the two. But yeah, more surprised about Thomas.
Allison Felix scratching the women's 200. She is entered in the 400.
I thought you were about to say she scratches the 400, and I was about
No,
to
no.
lose my mind. It's like, wait a minute. She's always zigging when everybody else is zagging. Yeah, the 400 is her chance to make the team.
Yeah.
You get onto the team as long as you make the final, and she's better the 400 than the 200. Obvious choice.
Um, Fred Curley scratching the 400. Kind of expected that.
He's a 1 and
All
2
right.
guy now, so now I
Yep,
can
he's a
update
one or
my
two guy.
rankings. Yeah, I can move him out of the 4. I mean, pretty damn good 400-meter runner though. He's the best non 400 400-meter runner of all time, I think.
It's great. It's a great line for his Instagram handle.
Yeah,
Donovan Brazier is scratching the 400.
I want to
That's
see what he does in the 800.
yeah, that makes sense. He is, he finished top
How
two
many
though in the
people
400
knew he
indoor.
was qualified? How many people knew he was qualified? Is that just from indoors?
I don't think he was
Must.
qualified. He just scratched it. Maybe
Oh,
he just
oh.
yeah. This is an
Okay.
official
Well,
scratch.
let me take this opportunity to say now I am also scratching the 400.
Okay, and I am too. So if you're scratching the 400, let us know
I am too.
in the comments. Scratch chat. Are you scratching the 400? Let us know.
Or if
Colt,
you're
you
scratching
scratching?
something else, let us know.
I'm scratching. I'm scratching for sure.
Colt
If you're
scratching the four
scratching
as
the
well.
discus, tell us you're scratching the
Yeah.
discus. Just what
Let
are you
us know what you're
scratching?
scratching. I think we should all put out statements of what events we are scratching. That'll be good.
Get the letterhead ready.
This one is not. I mean, Phyllis Francis is scratching the 400. I think she hasn't really been running much, if at all,
Yeah, I haven't.
really. So, and Shamir Little is scratching the 400, going all in on the 400 hurdles. So there's that.
Yep.
Not too
Yeah, it
crazy there.
seems to be what she's like last year. I thought she might do the 4, but she didn't. So it makes sense this year she wouldn't.
All right, this one, Sophia Gorarion, the high school star in the 800, is scratching.
Scratching the 800?
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a bummer.
Well, you said it in the first part there, high school star.
Yeah,
So she'll have time,
she's
long
probably
term
focusing on
development.
the U20s, probably.
Yeah, U20s are at the same time. Go there, get the experience, get the win. Good for her. She's had a great season.
Yeah, Sinclair Johnson is scratching the 800, but that she's all in on the 15. No surprise
You
there.
keep you keep starting these things with someone. And I'm like, wait, are they scratching? And then you're like, no, that event, another event. Uh,
Grant Fisher and Sean McGorty scratching the
oh,
1500.
1500. Okay, stop doing this. I haven't looked at this list. This is
I
very
know that's what's
disorienting.
fun about it. I'm getting your raw
Yeah,
reaction to these names.
yeah. Okay, good. They scratched the 15. Good.
All right.
Clear up some space for other people.
The more notable one here, Craig
Mm.
Engels, not entered in the 1500. We already know about Centro not running. Now Craig Engels not running. Two of the most, talked about 1500-meter names of the past 5 or so years who always were making teams or getting fourth aren't there. So we already talked about Centro not being there, but what's your thoughts on Craig Engels not being there?
Yeah, and this was an event where not that many people have the standard. Still the case. Not that many people have the standard. So I thought he had a decent shot. Central not being there. Listen, it's disappointing because you don't know at that point how many times they're going to get to go through this. He had talked like he was so disappointed after the Olympics. I remember he gave an interview, Olympic trials, where he said he was like thinking of retiring. And there was another interview where it was okay, he's back, he's went on a road trip or I don't know. It was the normal Craig Engels stuff of all right, he's found it again and he's going to go for it. But I'm looking at his Instagram here, and it's just an injury, right?
Yeah, he just hasn't been himself.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's a bummer. I think obviously he's an entertaining figure in the sport, so you want to see him in there. But also, we've seen before where you sometimes you miss the team you're quote unquote supposed to make, and sometimes you make the team that you're supposed to miss. And you just never know because
yeah,
circumstances in track and field can go in a sometimes erratic and random pattern. But yeah, I'm reading his Instagram poster. It says got a little beat up the season at the end of camp and missed too much training to attempt racing. Taking a couple weeks off, enjoying life and getting some solid cross training in so that I can come back and hit some home runs late in the summer. And he is holding a bat in the picture. So a baseball bat, not a bat that you'd find underneath a bridge here in Austin. So yeah, I think it's just a big. I think it's a bummer. What he's still. I mean, you got 23 and 24, right? For sure.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
championships next year. Next,
All right, this is a big one. Sage Herta scratching the 1500, going all in on the 800.
well,
A wise man once told me Sage Herta is the next Kate Grace. And this is it. This is that moment.
this
She's
is
scratching the
this is the
15, going all in on the 8. Something Kate Grace would do.
yeah. You really should be the one talking about this. Is this the fulfilling of the prophecy?
This
The
is the
final
fulfilling of the prophecy. This
the
is it.
final stage. Yeah.
She's gonna get third in the
Uh
800, and I'm gonna be like, hell yeah.
but hold on a second here. What's the path to top 3 in the 800? And what's the path to top 3 in the 15?
Well, 15 has Pure St. Pierre, and it has Sinclair
Yeah.
Johnson, and then it
Okay.
has Trisha Schweizer's in there, Corey McGee, Josette Norris, Schlafterhoffen, Heather McLean, who made the Olympic team. So there's at least Cranny is there. So there are a lot of
She's not gonna run. She's not gonna run. Schweizer's not gonna run it. Come on.
true,
15?
but they're there. You know,
No,
okay.
they're not
Well, St. Pierre and Johnson. I think St. Pierre and Johnson is like the same as a Thing Mo and
no,
Ajay Wilson.
no, no, no,
No.
no, it's not. No. Um,
Okay.
not knowing her training. Like if she's equally prepared for both, I think the 1500 is an easier path than the 8. That 8 is tough. Now, if she's solely been focused on 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, everything's 8, then I get it. You still got to put yourself in there. You can't just switch an event because this event's a little easier. But again, I just have a hard time seeing anybody displace those 3. Like I would do the dreaded 3-team parlay on this race. You probably wouldn't even get that good odds. Because is there any way Mo doesn't make the team?
No,
No. Ajay Wilson. What do we know about Ajay Wilson?
she's gonna make the team.
She comes through when it matters, and she's an amazing championship racer. And we've seen it enough this year to know she can do that. What do we know about Raven Rogers? Oh, I don't know. Her picture's on the freaking tower that's going to be outside the stadium where she's racing. You think Raven Rogers isn't going to get a top 3 at Hayward?
That's
It's
a good
not
point.
happening.
You know,
They
but this is
get the
something. You know,
yeah,
Kate
they'll be
Grace
fine.
enjoyed challenges. Sage Herta enjoys challenges, so she's going all in on the 800.
No, I understand. And look, if that's where your training's at, that's where your training's at. It doesn't you can't switch it up. I'm not faulting her for that. I'm just saying objectively, the 8 more difficult to make than the 15.
All right, let's move. Next one. Alicia Monson and Joe Klecker scratching the 5Ks.
All right. So this is interesting, but it makes sense given we just saw them race in Oslo yesterday, and they ran incredibly well. I think it's a it's for U.S. running in terms of sending your best people, not the best news, but the 5 and the 10 are in some ways pretty similar, even though they're double the distance, but sometimes they turn into the same race at the World Championships. So they probably figured this was their best shot. And if scratching this allowed them to go get that Diamond League experience, maybe that helped a bit.
Yeah.
But listen, that frees up a spot for both. That's good news for a lot of American distance runners right now.
Yes.
The fact that Klecker and Monson aren't there. Because
Correct.
especially Monson, I felt really good about her getting on the team. And
Agreed.
Klecker probably would have been a favorite. So this is good news for whoever was going to be fourth.
Do you have an inverse scratch? Whatever that means.
An
St.
addition?
Pierre, L. St. Pierre, is accepted in the women's 5K with no time. So not sure
Mhm.
how they're able to swing that, but she doesn't have a 5K mark, and they are accepting her into 5K.
It's exciting. I'm guessing it's one of those backup plan things where if I
Yeah.
fall in the 1500, then I'll go do it. But if she actually ran it, it'd be awesome. As you remember, last year, about 3 months out of the trials, 4 months out of trials, said the event to watch is gonna be the women's 5 because you're gonna have the 1500 people moving up, the 10,000 people moving down. The way the schedule works, this is gonna be so awesome. And then it all completely fell apart, and I was very disappointed because we didn't get this superstar Clash of the Titans type of race. We had a lot of people scratch, some people just focus on one event or the other. So, I mean, I think Perter St. Pierre is one of the best 3 American women in the 5, so I'd love to see her in it, but usually these things are more like, "Hey, let's just enter both, and then we'll see what happens later."
Okay, a few more here. Anna Hall, scratching the women's 400 hurdles. She already is on
She's on the
Team
team already,
USA
though.
in the heptathlon. I qualified that about a month and a half ago, but looks like we won't see her in the 400 hurdles maybe again until next year. So that's what it feels like.
She's entered in something, though, right? She's entered in where we go? Someone in the chat can help out. It's tough because she could be
Yeah,
entered
she's
in
entered in
literally
the
anything.
she's entered in the 100 hurdles and the high jump and
What
the
about long
long
jump?
jump and the long jump. Yeah,
So she's doing a triathlon.
yeah. So she's
Welcome
doing
to
a
the Anna
triathlon.
Hall Triathlon next week. It'll be
All right.
light. It'll be a light weekend for her. Only 3 events, and then no 4-meter hurdles. That's fun.
Okay. Ooh, here's one.
That's cool. That's cool. She's
Here's
doing.
one.
Hmm.
You ready for this one, Kevin?
Yeah.
Grant
Hear
Holloway.
about this one? No. What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
He's not scratched. He's in the.
I don't know why I fell for that.
That was a good
You
one.
set
That was a
that
good
one up
one.
pretty
I
well.
almost, I got you. I got you. I built that one up. I got the
Deception.
trust from doing like a 10-minute segment with you, and then boom,
Yeah.
hit you with a rope. I
That's-
do have one last one. It's a field event
Mm.
athlete. Jen Sir is scratched in the women's pole vault.
Mm.
I
Veteran.
didn't even know she was still competing.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but she's been like the GOAT of women's pole vault for over a decade.
Yeah.
Her qualifying mark was like she jumped 460, so that's like edge of top 8 in the U.S. right now. But
Yeah.
maybe I didn't know she was still going. Maybe she's going to announce a retirement after this year. I don't know, but that was the only notable field event athlete scratching that I saw.
Yeah. Well, and one that got a lot of headlines, and then I thought about, man, we haven't really talked about this person since last year was Jenny Simpson scratching. I wasn't really keeping tabs on that, and I don't know if it's because I thought, okay, she's definitely going to move on to the roads, or I just thought, hey, she'll be there again. But she's made every single team since '07 up until last year. Nick Siccardi, our friend at NBC, had this stat from 2007 to 2019. Simpson finished in the top 3 in either the 15, 5, or steeple at all 13 U.S. championships.
Wow.
That's a pretty crazy stat. Um, I know she was working with her community in Colorado after all the fires. She was impacted by that there last year, but I hope we see her race again in some form or fashion, whether it's on the road, whether it's back on the track. But she won't be running at USA's. But I mean, the greatest women's miler of all time. So you want to see her out there again, you know? At least I do.
Yeah. I mean, she did finish 10th at the trials last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think after last year and her not running much at all this year, kind of put the writing on the wall that her incredible 13-year run was basically the doors closing on it.
Hmm. But again, she did run on the road last year, 10 miles. So I
She
just
ran
think
pretty
she's
good.
gonna, yeah, I think she's gonna get out there and do another one. And I think just from the fan perspective, it'd be fun to see her out. In the same way with, we wanted the proper Felix send off, and if she is gonna eventually move that direction, you just want to see Simpson do it because you look back at Simpson's record, it's phenomenal. Like that stat is impressive, but it almost doesn't do it justice because look at how many medals she brought home. Look at how consistent she was at global championships too. It's bananas for Simpson. Okay, is that it? Do you have any other ones?
Those are my scratches. People in the
All
chat
right.
are reacting. Anthony Rock said, no, what? No, all in the game said Jen Sir is still competing? Question mark. Then Claudette Scrawlings though she retired, bro. Then Rock said Jen Sir might as well retire. So people debating on Jen Sir's status. That's what this is about. But yeah. Any other interesting comments? Um, yeah,
Gordon usually
I don't
stays
know.
out of the chat. Usually stay out
I'm
of the
never
chat.
in the
Well,
chat. I'm always late to the chat game. I don't keep it
she
open on my screen. It's kind of covered, so
she'd vaulted
I'm always
6
lost.
times this year though. I'm looking at
Yeah,
her
she's not
results.
retired,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
she's just hurt, you know. So anyway,
All right, you want to do a couple guess my PRs?
let's do it. I'm ready. Can go. How many are we
Oh wait, hold
doing?
on a second.
Three?
Hold on a second.
I'm gonna go
Hold on a
three now.
second. Get your list up again. Khalil says you didn't mention Baker, or maybe you did. I don't know. Did Ronnie Baker scratch the 100?
He didn't even enter the 100. I don't think. Hold on, let me triple check. Yeah, he's not even entered. So yeah, I mean, some of the people, if they're not even entered, I didn't notice. This is all people who like at least entered and then scratched. So yeah, people like Ronnie Baker. Basically, he's just not running at all this season, I guess. So no Baker.
We saw him indoors, didn't? Yeah, we saw him indoors.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the 100 to see if there's anybody else that. Eric's in there, Bracey's in there. All right.